Let's take a look at the architectural cabin project that you're doing this week. And I've put notes in Blackboard, but I want to clarify a few things with this video to get you started. I'm providing you with a prototype file there in Blackboard that has been modified from what the publisher has. I've created the layers that you need. I've created the layers that you need and set these up. So if the colors are different from any of the publisher videos, don't worry about it. Just stick with the colors that we have here in this template. So I've got those all created for you. We are going to dimension in model space, but we're going to use annotative dimension styles. So I've set up the annotative style text style. The problem is the text size keeps coming in weird, okay? And I'm not sure why that is, but it keeps coming in as a weird size. I've set up the dimension style for you in the annotative dimension style. And I've set up, there's two multi-leader styles, and I've set all these up with the correct settings to use for annotative style. Okay, the only things that are not annotative are these texts down here in the notes and the view titles. Those were not. So the textbook goes through setting these things up using a scale of 64. And that would be correct for a 1/16 inch text at a 3/16 equals 1 foot scale. And that's kind of the old way of setting up text styles and dimension styles before they came up with the annotative styles. And you'll see some people still use that. I find it easier just to go with the annotative style, so you set all of your settings to what you want them to be in paper space, and then you set the annotative scale. One-time deal. Just down here in your status bar, you got to make sure that these three icons are visible, and that this one here for sure is turned on, so you show your annotation objects. And then when you go to create a text, you've got to change your text height to be whatever it needs to be, and most of them are going to be either 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch. Because in this project, all of our dimension text and stuff is going to be 1/16 inch tall. Because it's such a we're doing it kind of at a weird scale, but it's a smaller piece of paper. It's 11 by 17 paper. All right, and so you're going to draw your floor plan inside this rectangle, and then I'll address elevation in a moment, but you'll end up having your elevations in that rectangle. The paper space layouts are created. The title blocks are created for you, and I've moved them a little bit from what the publisher had so that it totally fits within the printable area. Okay, and so when you get your drawing completed, you're going to want to activate model space here. Make sure your scale is set to 3/16. You'll need to unlock it, and then you may need to pan to get centered up, but the model space rectangle is already centered there. And then in the title block, all of the text is attributes, just like the last. So you come in here to attributes to edit those and fill those things in. Okay, so let's go to the actual cabin drawing. The steps in the textbook and then the publisher videos are pretty good on drawing this. So other than the dimensioning and text things, you pretty much follow the textbook instructions in their videos. I've created the block file. Let's see, what was it called? Cabin symbols file. I went ahead and took that file and created the blocks for you and saved them as blocks, and that's uploaded into Blackboard also. So you don't have to create all those blocks. I'm just trying to save you a little bit of time this week. But one of the things with the blocks, specifically like receptacles and light switches, you'll have to rotate them. Things with text, like the gas symbol, the cold water and the hot water symbol, if you rotate those things, the text is not going to stay, readable horizontally. So what you'll have to do is explode it. You have to bring one of those blocks in, explode it, and then you can either recreate it back as a block within the drawing with a new name, or you can just group them together and put them on the correct layer. That works too. The 220 volt outlet, same thing down here. The text needs to be relocated. So that's that. So this is the drawing. One thing in the, it said to set the line type when you draw the wiring. It said to reset the line type. I found you don't need to do that, because you really don't want them to show up as dashes here in model space, because that throws it off over in paper space. So none of the dash lines are showing up as dashes here in model space, and that's okay. I'm trying to think what else in here. The text, like the bedrooms here, it's annotated. I don't know why that one's looking weird. I don't know why annotated scale is showing at 1:1. That's weird. Don't know why that happened. But anyway, I made that text as a 6-inch paper height. I don't know why it reverted back to that. That was kind of weird, because that is not what I had set up. Anyway, so your bedroom text over here, I've got it at like 3/32 of an inch text, and then all the dimension text is set at 1/16 inch in the annotated scale. Let's see, the doors, the bifold door here. I had to basically explode it, get it rotated or mirrored, get it mirrored into the right orientation so the text would orient correctly, and then I saved it back as a different block. Okay. The text, the book shows in the text here about using a mask. And what you do is you hit this button right here, mask, and set it, use background mask, and use drawing background color. And then what that does is it doesn't break those lines continue, but it brings them forward. If for some reason it is not appearing this way, then what you do is you can select your text and right click and go to draw order and go bring to front, and it will bring it up in front of all of those lines. Okay. One of the back to the text, once you get like put in one of them, get the text type set right for what you want, and then just take that and copy it to the different rooms, and then go in and edit that text for that room. That way you're not having to struggle with resetting the text height and stuff all the time. And so the floor plan was pretty straightforward. The elevations are different for you. I mean, you've done the one elevation previously, but this one's a little bit different, a little bit more. There's just some different things in it, okay? In the publisher videos, they draw when it starts out with the textbook and the publisher videos, they're drawing the lumber, the framing lumber for the wall as actual size, 1.5 by 3.5 or a 2x4. But then when they get here to do this porch and the steps, they're drawing it nominal size. You know, they're saying a 2x12 for the steps, and they're drawing it 2 inches by 12 inches. I will be okay either way. If you draw the steps and this deck back here as nominal size or actual size, either way will be fine. Okay. Now, how to draw this? The textbook doesn't show very well how to do it. So what you'll want to do for it starts out drawing the side view first, and so you can select. The easiest way to do it is just select your entire drawing there and copy it. Somewhere way over, you know, out to the side. Okay, and then it'd be easier if you turn off all the layers you don't need. And then what you do is you establish your first floor line, and then you start, or this one you're going to be drawing it from the side here. So you would come over, you establish your first floor line, or no, the way the book shows, I'm sorry, is you rotated that. And so what I did here is I copied the right side wall, I basically just came down through here and copied all of those things, brought them up, rotated them 90 degrees, and this is what I used to project down using construction lines on the construction layer to get the length of my walls, the center of my windows, you know, my door location, things like that. And I drew it right here. And then I did the same thing. I copied, you know, I started out copying just the front corner of the building, brought it up, and placed it here, and then I could draw my front elevation here. And when I moved these things, I went ahead and grouped them. Once I moved them the first time, you know, just did right click and group, and, you know, added it to a group. That way I've just got one entity when I want to move it or rotate it or something like that. Okay, and then if you turn off layers that you don't need, it makes it easier to snap to what you need to snap to when you're going to draw it. And so you would draw your front view, you know, your front view down here in front of this part of the cabin, your side view in front of this, and then just get the walls, you know, the roof, the major things done. I mean, you could go ahead and dimension it and stuff if you want to do your text and stuff, and then move it down into the right spot down here and move it to get it into place. And you can see they're really pretty close together. But then when you look at it in paper space, come into here, set your scale. You can do some panning if you need to pan it. And then you can see how much space you've got for text and dimensions and things in between everything. Okay. Now the grade line right here, the finished grade line, the book really didn't tell you how to draw this very much. So I created a layer, called it finished grade, and I set that layer's line weight to 0.6 millimeters. Or gave it a 0.6 line weight, and then you could use a polyline to draw that with, or you could use the sketch command. And the sketch command is real simple. Sketch. Let me start over. And then basically you hold down your left mouse button, and then you just sketch a line, and then enter to finish it. Okay, and you can see it creates a whole bunch of line segments. Okay, so either way, either polyline is probably better. Because you get one entity that if you need to edit it, you can move it. If you use the sketch command, you got a whole bunch of little bitty lines in there. Okay. I think, well, okay, so you're going to have some trimming here. Like this door is behind this part of the roof. So what you got to do is you've got to explode that door and then trim out those parts, and then come back and select your door again. And I didn't recreate the block. I just grouped it and changed all the layers, changed it back to the door layer. And you may have to do that a couple of times because some of these lines inside the window here won't stay white. Okay. Same way over here. Here you've got two windows that come in place, but they're shown as a single window unit. So go ahead and put both of them in based on their center lines from the floor plan, and then explode them and trim out the lines that you don't need, and then bring it back into a group is the best way to deal with that and fix it. I think that that covers a lot of it. If you got questions, come out of the lab, come and see me, send me an email, and we can get you working through this project. The book's good. The publisher videos are pretty good. The major things that we changed was the way you're going to do text and dimensioning. And so I think I've covered all that. So, like I said, if you got questions, you got problems, come see me. You are going to be printing this drawing next week. So when you come into the lab, you need to bring it with you or have it available in the cloud so that you can open it up and print it to turn it in.